I wanted to make a quick video today about the effects of news in relation to either FUD, fear, uncertainty and doubt, or hype. Now, both of these can have an effect on the price, be that positive or adverse. And I just wanted to have a little chat about which types of news tend to do what. So,
would that be something you might be interested in?
Definitely. Boom!
Please sit down and pay attention. Testing 1, 2, making sure microphone not too loud. Excellent. Hello today. I've split the sections down into further subsections: government, bank, enterprise, and technology and industry. Now, I've kept these 4 sections the same for both the FUD and the hype. Now, really, I can't think of any other further ways to separate these categories out. I think this is inclusive of pretty much everything. But, you know, if there is any additional sections that people feel should be added, please let me know down in the comments. So when we're talking about FUD, fear, uncertainty and doubt, there's a couple of different things that tend to actually affect the price. One of them being is news from different governments. If it's China, India, Afghanistan, at least in the short term, this tends to affect the price. We can see this recently if we look at price compared to previously, at the point where, say, the China crypto FUD came out in the past couple of months. And the other subsection that tends to affect it is enterprise. So this will be stuff like Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary speaking about Bitcoin and its lack of green energy, use of coal and fossil fuels in order to mine dirty Bitcoin. Elon Musk tweets whatever it's saying a day. Oh, it's good, it's bad, it's efficient, it's inefficient, it's better than money, it's worse than money. We accept it, we don't accept it. Elon, come on, behave. Now, with most of the FUD that we tend to see in this space, it's all typically BS, right? And what I mean from that is Kevin O'Leary is basically crying about the fact that there's a lot of Bitcoins that are mined through non-renewable energy sources, mainly in China. And the problem with this is that everyone is super world huggy, lovey, eco-warrior, SJW, loves the planet, has no idea about how anything actually works, doesn't realise that it's mined mainly with renewable and sustainable sources of energy anyway, right? Look, it already exists. To go back to specifics with regards to government, we've heard some news this year regarding certain bans being put in place. Some of these bans are bans, aren't bans, are just reiteration of previous news, sort of like China. Basically just reiterating the same thing from 2013 and 2017. And even in the stuff that we've heard, these countries aren't necessarily fully banned. So if you look at this website, we can see at least Truth 19, these are the ones that were banned, these are the ones that had some sort of prohibition in place in countries as of 2020 where it was legal. The other 2 places that we tend to have news from is from the banks or from other technical people in the industry. Now, if I'm going to be honest, the bank news doesn't actually really do anything. It just sort of scares retail investors on a daily basis and maybe makes some people shit their pants. But I think for the vast majority of crypto holders, we sort of know the games that they're playing anyway. We know that they've been accumulating for years upon years. So they just tend to get ignored. Sort of like this one where JP Morgan was saying Bitcoin may never go above $40,000 a gain. When was this? January 25th. Okay, so following that, we just went straight to 64. So yeah, doesn't affect the price at all. Don't mean shit, don't know shit, don't listen to it. Stop me telling you that chocolate ice cream's a bunch of bollocks and you shouldn't like it. You may have never tried it, but trust me, chocolate is not the flavour for you. The future of ice cream is not chocolate, it is vanilla, right? And then you go to the ice cream man, you get a vanilla scoop, and you look at me, and you're like, Ben, why do you have 400,000 scoops of chocolate ice cream? And I'm like, I don't know, I'm just made that way, I guess. But there is some fun to be had with regards to the technical fuzz. Recently, TechLead did a video, I'm sure slightly satirically, as he always does. As a millionaire, it's his opinion on sharding and if that is really actually a viable solution for scaling for the Ethereum blockchain. It's quite interesting, I'll put a little clip here.
Quadratic sharding. Now, we don't even have quadratic sharding in normal database technology, but this is like an n squared improvement. And this is going to solve all of our problems by going polynomial to n squared. Guys, n squared is not that fast, okay? Like, we need linear time or constant time. But take a look. We've got this fancy diagram here that was commissioned by QuantStamp. He actually paid these people to draw this thing for him to make it look really technologically fancy. But the idea is to divide up these Ethereum validator nodes into shard groups and then to have them validate new transactions by themselves, and this would speed things up. And then to protect against potential 51% attacks, it would just be assigned randomly so that you cannot attack a single shard very easily. Now, sure, maybe that's going to work. Or not, maybe it's going to just buckle down under the weight of its own complexity. But in the database world, we used to do a lot of sharding as well, by the way. And you know how we fixed that? We didn't get into quadratic sharding or cubic sharding or even exponential sharding. We just invented NoSQL databases like Redis, Memcached, Firebase, and these can scale infinitely across any number of machines. There's no quadratic scaling, it's infinite scaling.
Moving on to the hype news. It's pretty much the same, if I'm going to be honest, as the FUD in terms of what affects the price, government news and enterprise news. However, there is a slight caveat that with the technical news, new test nets seem to affect the price as well. I mean, I can vouch for this myself, having been in Cardano before the Shelley testnet went up. Sometimes it just goes down, but generally what tends to happen is news of a testnet, people get excited, start going into a project, and it's normally a case of buy the rumour, sell the news. Now hopefully this doesn't happen to every project you get in, but it is one way to try and find projects that you think has good short to medium term potential. Stuff like the Lightning Network, Taproot, as much as they're going to be absolutely great for the Bitcoin system and improve it, I don't think anyone's really that excited from a price perspective as to if they are or are not happening in the sort of mid-term future. I mean, when they happen, I'm sure, yeah, the price will increase vastly because of the added utility and capability, but until then, it's just sort of empty words. As we're all aware, there are other projects within the community, within the industry, that solve a lot of the things that Bitcoin doesn't. I mean, that was one of the reasons that Ethereum got together. You can see in this interview from Charles Ash Bennington over at Real Vision that the reason that Ethereum was founded in the first place was due to the shortcomings of Bitcoin and the desire of a few select group of people who wanted to improve upon the system and offer greater capability in use case. You might have noticed price increase recently from the news about El Salvador making Bitcoin legal tender. This is absolutely massive news. This is possibly the best news for adoption all year, and hopefully it's going to rock the Casbah a bit and shake up all these corrupt MFs that have been sitting on the sideline manipulating too long. With that El Salvador news, there was hints of Paraguay, Mexico, and possibly a few more countries around that region joining in on the action as well. We can see this through various officials changing their picture to include the Bitcoin laser eye, which is synonymous for Bitcoin maximalism, or more in general, just a friend of crypto space, as it is these days. We can see also Cardano's price that the deal with the Ethiopian government seemed to have a dramatic effect on the price. And whilst Cardano's price did crash down from $2.40 all the way to $1, it certainly held well. Talking about banks, we have Citibank saying it's going to be 300k by the end of the year. We have JP Morgan saying some other good stuff as well. I'm going to be completely honest, JP Morgan just fucking flip-flops more than a magic app, I'm not gonna lie. Can't really trust them. Goldman Sachs are going to start derivatives, which is hilarious because obviously UK derivatives were made illegal last year because us in the UK, we aren't smart enough to be able to use our money without getting absolutely wrecked, apparently. So thank you for the financial advice, telling me that I do not know how to operate my money. Go fuck yourself. As I've said before, enterprise, massive effect, mainly Elon, sometimes Saylor, anything he says, ever, always good. He's bought some more. Here's how big my bag is. Paul Tudor Jones has announced recently that he's putting 5% of his net worth, or he's going to look to try to put 5% of his net worth into Bitcoin or crypto in general. Into Bitcoin. Now, I don't think this news has actually had any effect on the price. I think it just so happens to be coincidental with the price increase. But it is stuff like this that can have an effect on the market. Basically what happens is a retail investor deems this guy to be smarter than them, wants to copy this guy and do exactly what he does, and does that, and then it causes a move in the market. So thank you guys for joining me just for a little chat on the two different types of news, FUD and HYPE, and how both of these can affect the price of Bitcoin or indeed any cryptocurrency. What other news probably won't do anything, and what news is just absolutely irrelevant. Well, until next time guys, take it easy.